Welcome back to LEGO Wars and the all-new for 2023 Rookies Cup. Tonight we're letting 16 rookies loose in the LEGO Wars arena to show off what they can do, all in hope of impressing enough to make the main series. Our competitors tonight have been drawn at random for a bracket, so without further ado, let's see how they'll line up. First up, it's the latest build from the Retcon crew, Megalodon, against the self-proclaimed ultimate spinner Project Shadow, followed by the BattleBots veteran Slamo taking the plunge against the double-axe Kelsey Hammer. Fight 3 will see legends of the UK live scene Thumper make their LEGO Wars debut against the unusual Smoo, followed by the new flipper on the block Nova trying to escape the crushing jaws of Quantum. On to the other side now, and it's the only robot that has fight experience in this arena, Bolts, facing the terribly tantruming Muffin. Then we have two BattleBots v Robot Wars matches with Whiplash and Kraken against Growler and Firestorm respectively, before we end the first round with the fearsome vert Ganymede against the only walker tonight, Dayadarabochi. Let's hand over to Anderson and get on with the action.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
I've really been looking forward to this tournament. It's time to see the rookies out there. A bunch of new machines, seeing if they are worthy of fighting in the LEGO Warzone. Megalodon with that big drum spinner, not spinning much at the moment. Project Shadow with that scary 45-degree angled horizontal spinning flywheel. Megalodon, oh, it's lost its tail! Well, I was about to say using its tail there was some sort of a wedge to sort of try and jam up the wheels, but it didn't work, and now that drum has been knocked loose as well by that spinner of Project Shadow. That is a formidable looking weapon on a formidable looking newcomer, I'm being honest. Can Project Shadow do more damage here? The pit button has been pressed by Megalodon, named of course after the Monster Jam. Not Monster Jam, the same name, but they're on the verge of the pit. Oh, they somehow survived. How on earth did they get away from there? That was great control there by the Megalodon driver, whoever it was. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Project Shadow trying to bring that flywheel in and cause more damage to that drum. Megalodon nearly flipping itself over there, but managing to control itself well. Oh, and now Project Shadow nearly in the pit, but getting away. Good evasive driving there. I love the designs of these two machines. I hope the rest of the machines are as well designed as this in this tournament. It is always good fun to see the newcomers come out to play. We'll see a brand new breed of robot in LEGO Wars, perhaps. Something we've never seen before. Something new and brilliant. Project Shadow, are they okay? They seem to be stuck on... Are they dead on one side? One of those wheels certainly doesn't seem to be turning as fluidly as the other, although they are just able to move out of their circumference. Megalodon have now flipped themselves up and over and nearly drove themselves down the pit again, and have now come to a rest there by the pit release. But oh! And there goes one of the wheels, and the shark has had one of its fins ripped off by the looks of things. Well, it was a good battle up until that point, but Megalodon, there's no way back for them there, is there? They're done for. There's the countdown timer. And Project Shadow, that was an impressive debut for their weapon. Not so much their drive, I must admit. But, hey, a win's a win, and that was a very convincing one at that. Megalodon's drum did look impressive early on, but it seemed to come loose and stop working entirely very early on in the fight, and that meant Project Shadow could do all sorts of damage to them. I thought Megalodon were done here, but they did manage to escape the pit. They did show good driving evasion, but the problem really was the control. They flipped themselves over, died, and then had their wheel ripped off. Ouch.
A destructive start to the action tonight as Project Shadow marches on to the next round. Next up, it's Slamo v Kelsey Hammer, so please no apologies.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Now, Slamo is a newcomer to LEGO Wars, but it is a BattleBots veteran, so they will be favoured, of course, by the long-time competitors, Team Danby. Some damage has been done there, not to Kelsey Hammer, but to David Hyde Fierce. It's Minibot, which looks fantastic, although it has been flipped over. Kelsey Hammer, though, managing to get revenge there and avenging its son, I guess you could say. I don't know what it is. It could be his long-lost cousin, for all I know, but managing to avenge them with that hammer. Now trying to come in and get more shots in, but didn't. Slamo's managed to lose one of its forks underneath David Hyde Fierce there, although it doesn't seem to be hindering it too much as it comes in now, trying to suplex Kelsey Hammer and now flicking it up against the arena's side wall. So even with just one prong, it does work. Good self-right in there, though, by Kelsey Hammer. Haven't really seen it do much damage with that hammer, though. Now trying to... what is it doing? Why are they attacking? Why is it attacking its side? I don't... Oh dear, talk about child endangerment. Anyway, 4 pieces. I tell you what, they've done more damage to it than Slamo have. I don't know what's going on. Oh, off goes the other prong though. Now, will that affect the weapon of Slamo? And will we see the Danby curse reign supreme here on LEGO Wars as well? Slamo, and being honest... Oh! It's gone down with Slamo on it! And I think, yes! Slamo have gone down and Kelsey Hammer have won it! The Danby curse lives on in LEGO Wars! And Kelsey Hammer go through! When will Team Danby catch a break? I thought they had it here for sure. Yeah, they got hit a few times, but their weapons seem to be working pretty effectively, managing to throw over David Hyde Fierce. Coming in on Kelsey Hammer. I thought they had it here, but they were able to self-right spectacularly. Down came the hammer, and they managed to do damage to the other prong here. And after that, they could not get underneath them. Good driving then by Kelsey Hammer to get the pit to go down. And it was only a matter of time until Slamo went into the abyss.
We at LEGO Wars would once again like to apologise to Craig Danby. In the meantime, Kelsey Hammer will move on. Thumper and Smoo are next into the arena, so let's see how these live scene robots perform here.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Watch the start here for Smoo. Look at that, absolutely fantastic way of getting themselves ready to fight. It's a very, very thin but very, very wide machine. And it doesn't have an active weapon, which is a bit of a rarity in LEGO Wars. Thumper, meanwhile, that was terrible driving, bashing into the sidewall, but they have managed to get that very frighteningly fast-looking spinning drum up to speed, and they've caused damage to Smoo straight away. Thumper, very compact design. It looks good, actually, doesn't it, out there? It's nippy and quick and very deadly by the looks of things. Smoo, bits and pieces of them flying everywhere. A really good fight here between two very compact, very well-designed machines. The designs, honestly, for this Rookies tournament have already been fantastic, if you ask me. We're only 3 fights in at the moment. Thumper being pushed backwards, trying to see if they could do some damage. One of their front wedges has gone flying off there, though. Oh, more damage being done there, but was that to themselves or was that to Smoo? I'm not too sure. Both their front wedges have been removed, which means they are going to struggle now getting damage. Oh, it doesn't matter! The pit button pressed, down goes the pit, and they go down with it. What a shame for a robot that had started brilliantly.
6.
And Smoo go through by the skin of their teeth. Bit of a shameful way to end that battle, really, because it was a really good fight up until that point. Thumper managing to cause damage there and even topple over Smoo at one point, but it did lose both of its front wedges, which does mean that they were doing more damage to themselves, because there's no way in heck that Smoo was able to do that kind of damage to them. Smoo, though, good tactic there, hit the pit button and Thumper went down.
What terrible luck for Thumper hitting Smoo into the pit release button. Next up is the beautiful Quantum taking on the new Flipperbot Nova.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Classic wedge-shaped flipper versus classic wedge-shaped crusher here. It is Quantum, though, with the opening grab onto Nova. Nova, though, using their flipper well there to flip the crusher away. Quantum, of course, a BattleBots legend, and technically a King of Bots legend as well, actually, when you dive on it, because they also entered that with Spectre, won the first ever series of King of Bots. So very, very high things expected of this rookie in this tournament. Nova, meanwhile, completely new machine, very similar, actually, in design to Brick of Brother, isn't it? Very compact, very sturdily built machine. It's got a wider flipper, though, which they say should help them and make them get better flips in. They've now been released, but certainly the ground game there seems to be being won by Quantum, which is actually a bit of a surprise, to be honest, looking at these. So you would have thought, oh, that it would have been Nova, but that was some great driving there by Quantum, getting underneath the flipper and now trying to get to the internals, but reversed a little bit too early, wasn't able to capitalise on it. Nova, for a minute there, I thought their flipper had gotten stuck. They took a while to lower it there. Now, once again, Quantum able to get in and crush into the internals. Great work there by the machine. That has entered BattleBots, the first ever King of Bots champions, don't forget. And definitely expected to make an impact here in LEGO Wars. They have got the control, they have got the damage, they've got the aggression. There's not really much Nova could do to them here, to be honest. They seem to be getting stuck on the arena spikes there. Up they come. Nova, I'm not too sure what damage those spikes did, and now the spikes seem to be stuck up, to be honest. Nova, though, seems to be moving pretty fluidly. Obviously, there was only superficial damage done there. They weren't obviously able to get into any of the major internals with that crusher there, Quantum. Now backing away. Now Nova on the aggressive, but it really is losing that ground game, isn't it? Quantum again able to get underneath. Good work there though by Nova, using the flipper to keep the crusher at bay. So if this one was to go to the judges, Quantum for me are currently winning on all points, which is a shame because Nova does look fantastic out there in the LEGO Wars arena. We really have been introduced to some beautifully designed machines this series, haven't we? And now Nova finally getting a good flip in! Flying Quantum into the air, but crashing back down onto its wheels. They weren't able to capitalise on that attack. Nova, are they okay or are they dead? They don't seem to be moving as fluidly as they were earlier on in this fight. Quantum has worked beautifully throughout and is now getting yet another bite in. Oh, good work there though by Nova, using their flipper to push them away. So they've definitely got good work with that weapon going on, but it's just the drive and the ground game that seems to be letting them down here. Are they mobile enough to go through and continue fighting? Yes, they have just got a little bit of a surge forward there, but they've stopped once again. We're into the final 8 seconds of this battle, so it is going to go to the judges. Nova, for me, wasn't impressive enough. Quantum dominated that battle easily.
6.
And one last little bite on the battery box for good luck. But for me, that was an easy win for Quantum. That crushing jaw is formidable, isn't it? It might not be the most destructive weapon we've ever seen, but it's certainly effective at controlling battles. They were able to grab a hold of Nova several times, with the highlight for me being right here, managing to get in there, grab a hold of the internals, grab a hold of the chassis, and again, look, pushing them all around the arena. Nova, they tried their hardest, but the most they really managed to do was get a little bit of a flick in on Quantum and lift them off the floor, but other than that, Quantum did pretty much everything. Surely they've won this one.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Quantum. A commanding performance from the pneumatic machine to advance into the quarterfinals. Next up, it's Bolts making their first proper appearance after last year's Grudge Match special against the new dog to the arena, Muffin. Please, for the love of God, don't bring as much trauma as the last two did.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Bolts certainly off to the quickest start there, managing to get around and spinning madly in the middle, although so far those chains have only succeeded in hitting their mini-bot Hangry. There's Muffin, meanwhile, oh, taking some damage there. Now Muffin is named after the cartoon character of the same name from the Australian cartoon show called Bluey. Who on earth names their dog Muffin? The Australians really are weird, aren't they? Anyway, Muffin backing away, looking to get that jaw in on something, and it looks like they're going to try and bite down on Hangry. Bolts is spinning madly, but you're supposed to be spinning madly against your opponents, guys. Oh! And Muffin have managed to take off half their face. Oh, and there goes the other half. It's a faceless dog. Oh, this is brilliant. We've had enough dogs falling apart in this arena with Block Dougal. Now we've got Muffin doing it as well. Though for me, Muffin's certainly the more controlled machine out there at the moment. Damage is definitely Bolts. Who's been the more aggressive? Has either machine been really aggressive? I don't know what's going on. Hangry, trying to get on the back there of Muffin. Not too sure what they're trying to do. Oh, good driving there by Muffin, slamming Bolts into the side wall. We haven't really seen much of that crushing. Oh my goodness me! Half the robot's fallen off. Hangry doing its big brother a little bit of an assistance, perhaps, opening up the pit button. Off comes the back panel now of Muffin. There's bits of Muffin all over the arena here. Meanwhile, Bolt, I don't think it's done any of this damage. I think he's just done it to itself. Now Bolt has lost one of its chains. What is going on out there? Hangry seems to be the only robot actually doing anything, or worthy of note. Getting underneath Muffin. Now a little cheeky bite there on the bottom of Bolts, and I'm just wondering if that will be enough to sway it for the judges. Damage is certainly been won by Bolts, although being honest, I don't think it rightly should be, considering Bolts has done absolutely none of it to it. Muffin's done all the damage to itself. Bolts, are they even in control out there? Well, they are managing to move out of their circumference, so they must have some sort of mobility, or some form of mobility at least. Hangry moving around. It's lost one of its eyebrows out there. Oh dear, that was a big shot there. I think that was the biggest hit Bolts managed to land so far on Muffin. Muffin's crushing jaw hasn't been the most effective of weapons, I must be honest. I don't seem to have the reach, but it has been very aggressive and very controlled. Who's won this? What's going on? I don't know what's happening anymore. What point in my life did I go so wrong that I would be sat here right now commentating on this? This is madness. Hangry and Muffin have had a fantastic fight out there, to be fair. And that does count towards Bolts' judge's decision. So, hey, maybe that will be enough to sway it for them in the judge's nod. I'm not too sure. We're in the final 2 seconds. It is going to go to the judges. I'm honestly not sure what they're going to make of it. That was absolute insanity from beginning to end. And sometimes I wonder if I'm actually doing commentary for this show or just having a fever dream. Anyway, Muffin and Hangry had a good little tussle throughout, being honest. The main fight was between those two. The only real major thing that Muffin did was do damage to itself, being honest. Bolts certainly had no control throughout and didn't really get many attacks in, leaving the most of the work being done to its mini-bot. As you can see there, look, spinning in the corner, even doing damage to itself. I have no idea who's won this one. I really don't know.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Muffin. Muffin's showing signs of dogs of past LEGO Wars as it falls apart and yet still wins the fight. They have the chance to an all-dog quarter-final fight if the renowned Classic Wars bot Growler can defeat the BattleBots veterans Whiplash.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
And here I was thinking that LEGO Wars didn't have house robots. Ah, well, Growler, with that very powerful skid steer system being flicked into the air effortlessly, though, by Whiplash. They were lucky not to land on their back there, actually, Growler, but Whiplash rolling them over anyway. And Growler has been toppled over for a tummy tickle with bits and pieces littering the floor. Whiplash, what are you doing? Why are you still attacking it? This is cruelty. Stop bullying them. Please, we do not want any more issues with Peter. We do not want to be cancelled. Thank you very much. Then again, if I'm 100% honest, the fact that I haven't been cancelled yet is quite a surprise. Anyway, Growler rocking around, flapping its jaws about like that's going to do anything, lads. And Whiplash have won this one quite convincingly. And I think what they're trying to do, actually, is be good sports and right Growler, but it's not working. It's an awkward shape to flip, and now it's getting stuck on the arena spikes. Oh yeah, that'll help them out, surely, lads. What's going on here? This is the second fight in a row where a battle featuring a dog has made me go crazy. I don't know, I give up. Thankfully, the count's happening. They've got 6 seconds to right themselves. It's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. Whiplash have won this one. 2-1. Goodbye, Growler.
6.
And Whiplash won that one in very convincing fashion. I really am starting to worry about my own health and sanity. I'm not even on the healthcare pay for this show. Anyway, Growler flicked into the air effortlessly by Whiplash, rolled over, and, well, that was it, really. Whiplash tried to right them, I think. Either that'll do more damage, I'm not too sure. But either way, Growler lost. Whiplash won.
A violent tummy tickle from the black and yellow lifter sends them through to the next round. Now it's 2 more well-known heavyweights making their LEGO Wars debut as Kraken faces Firestorm.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Interesting battle here. These two machines may both be rookies to LEGO Wars, but they're both legends in their respective shows. Firestorm, of course, legends of Robot Wars, 3-time grand finalists, 3-time third place finishers to be exact. Kraken may not have been as successful in BattleBots, but they are highly remembered and highly loved by many members of the robot community and fandom of BattleBots as well. They've got that horrifying vertical spinner on a lifting actuator, but for me, Firestorm seem to be the more controlled machine out there, although they do seem to be struggling to get underneath them, and they have been removed of a side panel, although Kraken has lost a chain. I think that's the chain from the spinner. Can it still spin? Have they got another chain in there? I don't think they have, which means their weapon is now reduced to essentially a really weird axe weapon. Not too sure how effective that's going to be. Oh, good push there though by Kraken. Managing to get underneath Firestorm, but Firestorm for me have the advantage now. If they can get underneath Kraken and flip it over, will they be able to self-right? They might be able to, but Kraken have lost their main weapon that is damage. That will be considered and taken into consideration by the judges if it does go to the judges, although this weird little hitting, tapping thing that Kraken's doing here on Firestorm does seem to be working quite well for it. And I might even argue they're on top at the moment. Firestorm Where's the driving control gone? This is one of the most best drive machines ever. What's happened to it? I'm really not too sure anymore. Kraken looks fantastic, doesn't it? Now going for the pit release button. Down goes the pit. The pit actually works this time around. I have been insured and should not at all be an issue in LEGO Wars. Ha, the day that happens is the day I quit this show. Anyway, Firestorm is right by the pit here. Oh, just getting away. Kraken seem to have the better pushing power, and I think one good push like that should have Firestorm down into the abyss. Out they go. Well, that's a shame for them. We didn't even really get to see that flipper. It's too late now, guys. You can't flip yourselves out of the pit. And Kraken, well, go through quite miraculously too. I honestly think Firestorm had a chance there. Yes, they took damage very early on. That was a good shot, actually, there by Kraken. But then the chain broke on the spinner, which meant it should have been Firestorm's fight. But Kraken used good driving and good control to outmaneuver Firestorm, using the arena hazards to its effect as well, getting them stuck on the spikes and bringing in their weird hitting device. And then they managed to throw the Robot Wars Legends into the pit.
Despite an exploding chain, Kraken dominated the famous front hinge to march on, where they will face the winners of our final fight of this round between Ganymede and Dayadarabochi.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
I'm going to find whoever named Dayadarabochi, hunt them down, and drink their blood. All jokes aside, however, it is great to see a walker entering LEGO Wars with that big hammer coming down, but flicked over immediately. Although it can still... It can still walk, I think. The hammer taking some damage there as well, courtesy of Ganymede's horrendously destructive flywheel spinner. Not really a fan of pink robots in the arena, I must be honest, but this one, oh, isn't friendly at all. It's destructive and mean and merciless. Look at the little legs going of Dayadarabochi. Well, I tell you what, earlier on in this special, I did turn around and say that I was looking forward to seeing some new breed of machine entering into LEGO Wars, and it is great to see a LEGO Walker out there for the first time ever, even if it didn't last very long. I don't think it's got much longer left, has it? Can they walk away? They're still able to drag themselves across the floor, so I guess that does count as mobility, or is it? No, not by the looks of things. I don't think they can get out of their circumference. And because of that, they are being counted out. And that was a very, very convincing win there for Ganymede. Oh, another huge shot. No real major damage done to those legs, though. They held up firm. Well done for them for that much. But that was a good win for Ganymede. All jokes about Dayadarabochi, whatever's name. It was a fun machine. I really do appreciate it being entered into LEGO Wars, but they had no real chance, I'm afraid. Ganymede, far too powerful, had no problem flicking them over with their flywheel and causing some damage as well. Good win there for Ganymede. They go through to the next round. Ouch.
A savage display from the vertical spinner to complete the lineup for the next round. The first of the quarterfinal fights is up next as the diminutive Kelsey hammer takes on Project Shadow.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
I can't wait to see David Hyde Fierce go up against the spinner of Project Shadow here. Kelsey Hammer bringing the hammer down. It was relatively impressive in his first battle against Slamo, actually. Got a very surprising win in there. Little David Hyde Fierce just driving around, basically trying to avoid that big spinner. Oh, because that's the damage it could do. We saw what damage Project Shadow could do earlier on in this special as it absolutely mullered Megalodon, took out its drum, ripped off one of its wheels as well. They've done some damage there to the hammer of Kelsey Hammer. Meanwhile, David Hyde Fierce desperately trying to get the pit open to help its comrade out, finally managing to do so. Did take a long time to get there though. Some damage done. There's a little bit flying off there. Not too sure what that was. Oh, now can the two twins of destiny get Project Shadow down the pit? I don't think they've got enough pushing power combined, I'm afraid. It's a mirror's Project Shadow spinning wobbly a little bit there. It does seem to be wonking around, although, oh! I don't think that's going to bother it too much, to be honest. Down comes the hammer of Kelsey Hammer, though. It is a great-looking robot, isn't it, Kelsey Hammer? And it has got a very formidable hammer on it. David Hyde Fierce has lasted longer in it than I thought it would. Go on, hit it. Go on, I want to see David Hyde Fierce get hit by that spinner. I want to see it get sent flying across the arena. That would be great fun to see, surely. Oh, more damage. Oh, good lord. Kelsey Hammer's been It's just had its face caved in. One half of the robot has been completely buckled out of shape. Go on, go after it, go on, now's your chance! Off goes the scoop of David Fierce. I thought for a minute there it was going to drive itself into the pit. Ah! Lord. Well, they were brave, Leston, for trying to take out the spinner of Project Shadow with their hammer, and their hammer got ripped completely off. There's not really much left of Kelsey hammer. How is it still moving? There's barely anything left of it, look, just the chassis. That's all that remains, and they nearly got them in the Fierce. How is David Fierce still moving? How is Kelsey hammer managing to get this much attacking offense in against Project Shadow despite the amount of damage it's taken? Well, fair play to them, they're complete newcomers. They've taken this much damage and they're still mobile. This is incredible stuff. Great tenacity from these machines. Project Shadow, though, surely is on top of this one just due to damage alone. And I think that shot there might have been the kill shot for Kelsey hammer. David Fierce is not big enough to continue moving for it. The time is ticking down, so it is going to go to the judges. But I'm pretty certain that lack of ability towards the end, plus the damage dealt throughout, will be more than enough to see Project Shadow go through to the semis. What a fight, though. That was great stuff. I love tenacious machines that refuse to die, but let's be honest here. There's only one winner of this one, surely. Kelsey hammer got absolutely splattered, and by the end of the fight was very clearly immobile. They were lucky not to be counted out, if you ask me. Their face was removed, their side panels removed, their mini-bot was mullered, although it was still mobile. And look at the damage there done to the weapon shaft. That was a big shot. And despite all that damage, they did try fighting back towards the end, but I'm afraid it was too little, too late.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Project Shadow. I don't think there's anything left undamaged on Kelsey after that devastating display from Project Shadow. They move on to the semis where they'll face either Smoo or Quantum.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
I'll tell you what, I really am a fan of the way that Smoo sort of connects itself to start a fight. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Great entertainment on camera as well. Lack of active weapon would make them an underdog in most tournaments though, but I tell you what, they've proved in their last fight that you don't need to have an active weapon in LEGO Wars to be effective, and they're proving that again here, look, against Quantum. Now Quantum were very effective against Nova in the last round, and I honestly think Smoo is the right size and shape to get a hold of like that, look! Pin them against you in a wall, get the bite in, and now there's nothing Smoo can do about this, and they are an easy machine to drag towards the pit if the pit was open, but it's not, and for some reason Quantum did not go for the pit button there. Why is that, I wonder? Oh, maybe they're trying to reverse onto it. I think they are, maybe for control purposes. Remember, with the pit button being there now, it's very difficult to avoid the pit once opening it, which was designed purposely, I might add, to sort of add a bit more driving tactic towards each battle. Smoo trying to get away from the crushing jaw of Quantum. Quantum biting absolutely nothing there. That meant that Smoo could come back with a good push. Oh, Smoo nearly in the pit. Will Smoo fit in the pit? He probably will. It's quite a wide machine, but I don't think it's too wide to fit in the pit. I'm not too sure. Quantum now trying to get a bite in, but Smoo pushing them backwards and into the pit. What an upset. What a victory there for Smoo. Out of nowhere. What a win that was. I tell you what, Smoo could turn some heads in this tournament. It might not be the most, let's say, destructive of machines, but it certainly is effective. Quantum certainly had a good grasp of them there. Look, managed to get the bite in. And had they been a little bit better with getting the pit down, they may have had a victory here, but they had to let the machine go, which they did very fairly. In fact, it was Smoo that actually released the button in the end. They tried to get another bite there, but they misjudged their timing. And then Smoo, surprisingly, pitted them. What a surprise.
The luck continues for Smoo as Quantum becomes their latest pitting victim. Now it's Muffin's chance to avenge our fallen doggo Growler in the penultimate quarterfinal fight against Whiplash.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
My initial thoughts on this battle is that Whiplash will start off as the favourites. They dominated Growler and the dog theme, but almost immediately in the last fight, and they've done it again here against Muffin. Muffin, being honest, was very lucky to make it past the last round. It only really won just simply because bolts did nothing. But I tell you what, Whiplash, that is a very effective lifter. Almost immediately had them toppled over, and there's nothing Muffin can do here now. Half their side has fallen off. There's no way they can right themselves. The biting jaws, they're raising them, trying to do something. They're not going to do anything with them now, are they? Let's be honest. And it's only a matter of time until the countdown starts. The fact that it hasn't already is a bit of a surprise. There we go. It finally shows up. Muffin have got 5 seconds to prove themselves to be mobile. It's not going to happen though, is it? No, they're out, I'm afraid. And that's 2 dogs that Whiplash have managed to muller in this tournament. Peter are going to have a field day with this episode, aren't they? Fantastic. Can't wait for the backlash that's going to bloody cause. Anyway, Muffin. Come on, lads. Go on. Go on, right them. You know you want to. Can they right Muffin? Oh, the pit button being pressed. Ah, the pit failed. The pit failed. I told you it would. It managed to go down eventually, but I told you the pit would fail at least once. Why am I so excited about that? Whiplash. What's Whiplash doing? They're trying to pit Muffin, and in doing so, have got themselves in there. Oh well, C scored. Whiplash go through despite being in the pit in the end. Oh dear. That was over before it began, let's be honest. One quick flip, and that was it for Muffin. They couldn't right themselves, and after that they got stuck in the corner. Whiplash tried their best to get them out of the corner, only really succeeded in doing damage. They finally managed to get them away, and in an attempt to get them down the pit, they threw themselves in. Oops. Well, as long as they can keep themselves out the pit, they could win this tournament. Very impressive so far.
As far as we're aware, the Whiplash team have no issues with dogs, but there is a case building as Muffin is easily disposed of. Whiplash will meet the winners of our final quarter-final matchup, where arguably the 2 most impressive robots from the first round, Kraken and Ganymede, will face one another.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
A battle of 2 quite impressive looking vertical spinners here. Will Kraken's spinner work throughout the entirety of this fight, or will it die again like it did in his fight against Firestorm? Ganymede, meanwhile, seems to be struggling to move actually. Kraken definitely has better mobility of the 2 machines. That was bad driving there by Ganymede to drive into the side wall. There's a bit of green on the floor. That must have come off of Kraken. There's no way it came off of the pink and black Ganymede, is there? Let's be honest. Down comes that spinner now of Kraken, not doing that much damage though. Nowhere near as much damage as it did to Firestorm in its opening contest battle. Good push there though by Kraken. They certainly have good maneuverability and good pushing power, don't they? There's that weapon coming in again. Didn't do anything on that assault. Not too sure how good that weapon is on Kraken, you know. The arena spike's coming into play now. Ganymede, though, have yet to get a really meaningful shot, and they've lost a wheel! I've just noticed that. Look, one of the wheels, one of the front wheels has come off there. You can see the axle poking out. You can see it lying on the arena floor in the corner there, that wheel, and that will definitely be a decisive moment in this battle if it goes to the judges. Ganymede, they were already having mobility issues by the looks of things. They have some sort of control issue out there, I'm sure, but they're not moving as fluidly as they were earlier in their fight against that walk, whose name I refuse to repronounce again. There is no way in heck I'm ever going to say that name again, hopefully. Anyway, more damage being done there to Kraken, and that was the Kraken spinner. And I think that's the spinner gone yet again, so they're going to go for the pit button now and hope they can push Ganymede down the pit. Down the pit. Oh, goodness me, Ganymede nearly threw themselves in there. I tell you what, they do seem to be struggling with their control in this battle, and that spinner hasn't been as effective as it was in the last fight. It has done some damage, but not as much as we thought it would to the green sea serpent. Now, can Kraken get in there and get them down the pit? I'm not too sure. Ganymede are in a lot of trouble here, though, because they're going to struggle to turn around, but they have managed to do so. And all they have to do is reverse, and they'll be away from the pit, but they're refusing to, driving instead into the arena sidewall. Why are they driving into the arena sidewall? Why are they not reversing to get out of there? And now they're stuck on into the pit again. And it's only a matter of time, I think, until they end up down that pit of oblivion. They're trying their hardest to get away, but no matter what they did, they were always going to go in, weren't they? Was it a control error, or was it just something wrong with the machine? Was it that assault there, maybe, that knocked something loose? Not too sure. Ganymede had control issues throughout. They lost their wheel as well, which certainly didn't help matters. And despite causing some damage to Kraken's spinner, they were no match for the driving superiorness of Kraken, and they seemed to have problems there in the corner, and they eventually fell down.
A rare victory for the arena spikes as Ganymede spins itself down the pit, leaving Kraken to meet Whiplash in an all BattleBots semi-final. They will fight a little later on, but first it's Project Shadow and Smoo's semi-final bout in a classic spinner on wedge encounter.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Now here's something of note. As cool as that little startup chassis thing of Smoo's is, does it make the chassis as a whole a fragile target for a good horizontal spinner like Project Shadow? That will certainly something to watch out for in this battle. At the moment though, Smoo using good driving control to stay around the sides and around the back of Project Shadow and keep away from that spinner. Now, that is one issue with Project Shadow. It's a slow machine and it's got a lot of exposed area in the sides and rear. So I guess the spinner is actually quite easy to avoid if you are a well-driven machine, and Smoo has proved that it is a well-driven machine in this tournament. But you see there, look, the front of the chassis was just starting to warp away, and I'm wondering if Project Shadow could get a good hit on that chassis. Maybe they could do some spectacular damage to it, maybe even tear it in half. That would be spectacular to see, although at the moment they seem to be having a better fight with the arena floor spikes. Come on, guys, get away from there. What are you doing? There we go, that's better. Good driving there. Now Smoo going for the pit button, not managing to release it on that attempt. That is a good tactic, though, by Smoo. It's proved them very, very well in the last 2 rounds. Remember, they beat Thumper by sending them down the pit, and the very fancied Quantum as well. Now the pit finally goes down, courtesy of Smoo. Meanwhile, Project Shadow had no problems destroying Kelsey Hammer in the last round, and Megalodon in the first round. Some damage done there now to Smoo, but I just think it was only superficial. I don't think it was anything meaningful. Look, no, the front still seems to be okay to me. Good driving again, and once again, Smoo now managing to get around the side. Another good shot there, though, by the spinner of Project Shadow. And they can get a few more hits like that in. I tell you what, my theory could be proven true, but they're back on the arena spikes again now. Smoo utilising the arena hazards in a very effective and very decent way, trying to get that spinner involved. Now, has that spinner stopped? I wonder. It isn't spinning at the moment. They haven't spun it back up to speed, and that could be an upset win here for Smoo. No, it is spinning back up to speed now. I think they were just giving the motor a little bit of a rest. We all know that thermal cutout can be a bit of an issue for these machines and can lead to very severe reliability issues. Smoo now, though, with a good push there, trying to get them towards the pit. Didn't on that attempt. Good hit there by Project Shadow, and those front wedges are now up in the air. Is that a telling bit of damage in this fight? I'm not too sure. Is Project Shadow spinner spinning? It seems to have stopped. It tried limply turning a moment ago, but it seems to have stopped completely now. And they're now being pushed back by Smoo, and again being rammed into the side wall. Smoo has completely controlled this fight and has won on control, in my opinion, and aggression. And being honest, potentially damaging, because Project Shadow spinner has not respun up, and I think it might be done for it, that spinner. That is a huge surprise. Smoo, to me, was an underdog. I thought they were going to go out in the first round, but here they are, potentially making it through to the final. They've got 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. They're not going to get them down the pit. Oh! Project Shadow go down the pit, but it was just after cease was called. But I think Smoo's nabbed that one. This could be a huge upset here. Project Shadow favoured to go far in this tournament and was favoured to win this battle. But I tell you what, Smoo absolutely outclassed them. Ultimate pushing power, ultimate control, ultimate driving superiority allowed them to outmaneuver that spinner, and while some damage was done like that bit there, for example, none of it was really that important, and eventually the spinner of Project Shadow died, and Smoo, for me, finished that battle by far on top.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Smoo. That ironic lack of speed from Project Shadow has cost it dearly, as Smoo becomes the first ever robot without an active weapon to make a LEGO Wars final. Now it's up to the dog killer Whiplash and the creature from the deep Kraken to take the remaining space. Smoo.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So the winner of this fight will compete against Smoo in the final. The loser will have to take on Project Shadow in the 3rd and 4th place playoff. Who will it be? Whiplash, for me, would have to be the favourite due to how amazing they performed in the previous 2 fights. Down goes the pit. They've gone for the pit button very early, and Kraken was nearly caught out by it there. This is the longest an opponent's lasted against Whiplash, and Whiplash are on the verge of going down the pit already, but they've managed to get away there just about. Yes, great driving there by Whiplash. It is a very well-driven machine in BattleBots and proven to be a very well-driven machine here in LEGO Wars. Like I said, this is the longest any of his opponents have lasted so far. Both Growler and Muffin were gone and done in a matter of moments in their previous 2 battles. Kraken, meanwhile, I have to say, did lose a little bit less convincingly in their 2 fights. Their spinner died in both battles, and they had to rely on the Pit of Oblivion in both of them. Ganymede actually pitted themselves, ironically, as well, which is a bit of a shame. Oh, Whiplash nearly going down the pit there again. Down comes that huge spinner of Kraken, which seems to be working throughout the fight so far. That's the first time we've managed to see it work the whole way through a battle. Will it work the whole way through this battle, though? There's still plenty of time left on the clock, don't forget. Can they bring that spinner down and do some meaningful damage to Whiplash? It is a well-armoured machine, Whiplash, don't forget. The arena spikes getting involved there. For me at the moment, this is a very, very close, very, very tough-fought battle. 2 BattleBots legends battling it out here in the LEGO Warzone. Oh, something came flying off there. Not too sure what that was, actually. Something flew off, though. Whiplash trying to bring their lifter down, but they've been pushed towards the pit by Kraken. And they're on the verge of going down, and down they go. And Kraken, that's a surprise for me. I thought Whiplash were going to be in the final, but they're out, and Kraken go through to the final. Great stuff. Well done them. Not only did Kraken win this fight, but the spinner worked out the entire fight. I know, I'm as shocked as you. Hell has frozen over. Whiplash was very nearly pitted early on. Used good driving tactics, but I tell you what, they could not beat Kraken's ground game, could they? And Kraken were very manoeuvrable in that one and somehow managed to outdrive the very well-driven Whiplash, eventually edging it towards the pit and eventually in. That's a surprise win for Kraken, but a convincing one nonetheless.
Another impressive display as Kraken takes out my favourite to win to complete the final lineup. We'll let them get patched up first, as Project Shadow and Whiplash deserve one more fight tonight to show off and take 3rd place into the main series.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
When the semi-final battles were drawn out, I honestly thought it was going to be these 2 in the final. To see them fighting for bronze here is a bit of an upset in my opinion, but I'm sure they'll be able to put on a spectacle of a fight. Nonetheless, some damage there being done, courtesy of Project Shadow to the front of Whiplash, and more damage being done there. Look, one of the wedgelets appears to have gone. I think it's gone underneath the machine, actually, so that's a bit of an issue. Will that hamper their driving? I don't think so. Will it stop their ability to get underneath anything? I don't think so either. The arena spikes doing a good job of hindering them there. They've been very effective, actually, as an arena hazard in this tournament. Have the arena spikes. Project Shadow trying to bring that huge spinning flywheel into the wheels. Look, not really doing much damage there. Whiplash has yet to get a meaningful lift in. They got one little flick in earlier, but it wasn't really a meaningful one. This hasn't been the overly enthusiastic spectacle I thought it would be, actually. Down goes the pit, courtesy of Whiplash. Well, that spiced things up, I wonder. Good hit there once again by Project Shadow. I think that's not that wedgelet back out from underneath it, though, to be honest. I think they've helped them, if anything. Another good little lift there from Whiplash, but wasn't able to capitalise on it. I think the spikes got in the way there, actually. Once again, proving to be a hindrance more to Whiplash there. Project Shadow will be thankful for that arena hazard, I'm certain, although they certainly didn't get along with it in the last fight against Smoo. Good little lift here once again, though, by Whiplash. Good work there. This is what I was saying earlier on about Project Shadow. It may be an effective weapon, but it's slow and it's got a severely exposed sides and a severely exposed rear as well, which means it's a very easy target for weapons such as that lifter out of Whiplash. Although, being honest, Whiplash hasn't managed to capitalise on its superior lifting weapon here. And I tell you what, not much damage has been done by that spinner of Project Shadow. Oh! Something came flying off there. I think that was part of the lifting arm of Whiplash. It was, and that means they're going to struggle getting underneath them even more now. More damage being done there to the front of Whiplash. Can they now get underneath them? The damage on that lifting arm, I think, could very well be decisive. They've blunted it, which means they basically will struggle to get underneath it a lot more than they were already. And that is a problem. It seems to keep catching on the chassis, that lifting arm. I wonder if the chassis has been twisted, or maybe the front plate's been bent out of shape, perhaps. They've definitely taken the more punishment of the 2 machines here, Whiplash. At the moment this one was to go to the judges, I say Project Shadow were on top. Both machines have been relatively aggressive. Oh my goodness, where did that come from? What an attack by Whiplash! They managed to take out the spinner of Project Shadow there with one flick of their lifter, but I tell you what, I think that inevitably has now managed to make Project Shadow a very effective wedge. They inadvertently did that, and I think they've actually helped Project Shadow potentially beat them here, because I tell you what, if they can get underneath Whiplash again and get a real good push in, they could have them in the Pit of Oblivion. trying to do that as well by the looks of things. The pit is
6.
right there. Cease call is going to go to the judges. And that was a really good fight in the end. Very close. Very, very close fight, this one. I'm not too sure what way the judges are going to go. Whiplash did start well, getting a good few cheeky lifts in. But unfortunately, unlike previous battles, they weren't really able to capitalise on those lifts. And that allowed Project Shadow to come back towards the midsection of this battle and start to slowly wear down the machine, doing damage to its front and to its lifter. Will that be decisive? Or will this be the decisive bit of damage here with the spinner coming off, courtesy of Whiplash's flipper? Very close.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Project Shadow. Despite losing their head, it's Project Shadow who will take bronze as both cap off impressive debuts. Now all that remains is crowning the inaugural Rookies Cup champion. It's been a breath of fresh air tonight in the arena as some brilliant new machines have showed off what they can do, but now only 2 remain. Will it be Smoo, the first robot without an active weapon to make a final, capping off an unlikely victory? Or will it be Kraken, whose so far perfect blend of damage and control be enough to finish the job? Let's see who will take it.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
I don't think there's a soul out there who predicted these 2 machines would be here in the final, but that's the beauty of robot combat at the end of the day. It is as unpredictable as my mental state. Kraken's spinner is not spinning. The machine is now finally got their weapon up to speed, but it took them a long time there. They've got radio issue problems, you think? Doesn't seem to. It seems to be moving very fluidly. Maybe it's just the weapon. I'm not too sure. Down it comes, though. No real damage onto Smoo at that point. Smoo proved in this fight against Project Shadow that it is a very certain machine. I thought it would be quite fragile because of its weird sort of reconnecting thing that does at the beginning of the fight, but it held up strong against Project Shadow. Now they've been flipped up and over, though, courtesy of Kraken, and Kraken using that weapon, more of a biter, really. Now can they use it to bring it down and do meaningful damage? They think they've done more damage to themselves there. One of their top panels go up, and the front panel has as well, and all of a sudden there's bits of Lego littering the arena, and both colours of the robots are all over there, so both machines have taken damage in this one. That means Kraken is surely winning via damage because, let's be honest now, there's no way Smoo actually caused that damage to Kraken, is there? Although another bit came off Kraken there. Down goes the pit, courtesy of Smoo being pushed onto the pit button. Now, Kraken's proved to be very, very well driven in this tournament. It's how they managed to get this far, to be honest. It wasn't because of the weapon, it's because of the driving ability, as was Smoo's way to this fight as well, actually. So both machines with the pit down now will be worried that their opponent should be able to outmaneuver them. But for me, personally, Kraken's got the ground game advantage and the pushing power advantage too. Down comes that spinner once again onto the top of Smoo, but no real damage done. There's a little bit of loose armor on the top of the machine, but I don't think that's anything too serious to worry about. Smoo, I think, are more worried about the fact that Kraken have got better pushing power than they have. They certainly seem to, and they're underneath them once again and driving towards the arena sidewall. For me, Kraken are on top here. They've managed to land a way more meaningful attacks, although they seem to be stuck on the arena floor spikes. But getting away. Good driving there by the US machine. Smoo losing some more superficial pieces there, but being pushed around the arena. Kraken trying to bring that weapon down. They're certainly in control of this fight. They've done the more damage. They've been the more aggressive. And Smoo, it's been a good campaign from them, but they're going to really have to try harder here. Otherwise, they could well be going out. Whether it's via the judges, via the pit, or via a KO, I'm not too sure. Good push there by Kraken once again, bringing the weapon down. And has that weapon now stopped, I wonder? It appears to have done so yet again. Kraken's spinner has died in 2 of its previous 3 fights, and I think it may have died here again. No, it's okay. Although it's very, very wobbly, and there goes the chain! So it has definitely crapped out on them now. Now, can Smoo use this to their advantage? I'm not too sure. There's only 9 seconds left in this battle. We're coming into the final 5 seconds. Can Smoo do anything meaningful in 5 seconds? I don't think it can.
6.
Cease called. It's going to go to the judges. For me, that was Kraken's fight. But we're going to have to see some highlights and see what the judges say. Good final, though. Brilliant battle. What a way to end the Rookies tournament. 2 completely different design machines. 2 very, very interestingly designed machines as well, going toe-to-toe. I do think Kraken were on top throughout. They definitely did the more damage. They got more meaningful attacks in throughout. Smoo just could not outpush them and could not outwedge them. And with a working weapon, Kraken is very, very dangerous. managing to cause all sorts of damage throughout. Smoo just could not keep up with them here. Look, as you can see, more bits flying off there as well. And it was only really here that Kraken started to struggle.
And the winner and Rookies Cup champion by unanimous decision is Kraken! Congratulations to Kraken, our first LEGO Wars Rookies Cup champion. That's all from us tonight, but don't fret as the next special is the one that started it all. The 4th International Championships are coming this way very soon. For now though, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.